Eileen Roche from Designs and Machine Embroidery Magazine, and I'm here today to share some tips about selecting thread color. You know, it's so tricky to get the right color thread that's really going to pop off that fabric. I am always disappointed if I select a thread that's the same color or value as my base fabric. And then I know from 6 feet away, nobody's going to see all my beautiful handwork. So I have some images that I want to share with you to give you a bird's eye view of what I'm talking about. So let's select threads like a pro. When I work with denim, it's very challenging to select what colors work. I think these three colors work together very well. And let me show you how I came up with that combo. First, I selected a blouse out of my closet that I love. This is a beautiful array of color. And then I pulled thread directly from that fabric. And in doing so, I know that if I wear that denim jacket with the blouse underneath, it most certainly will match. But also, because some wonderful artist has already designed that fabric, I know it's going to be very attractive together. And then I auditioned those thread spools right on the fabric, pulling the thread colors from the fabric directly to the spool. And then I kind of change it up to see which one combination would be most successful. And you can take time doing this. And when you do it, you should photograph each combination. So you've seen 3 different combinations. And when I photograph them, I often do it in black and white with my cell phone so that I can eliminate the actual color and just see the contrast of the thread, the value of the thread. And that tells me what's going to be visible from 6 feet away. So your digital camera most certainly works set in a black and white mode, or a value finder, which is a red plastic viewfinder that you just, it's a piece of plastic basically that's translucent and red, and it pulls away all the color in what is behind it. So that's a very helpful tool. So this was my final selection, and I think that worked very well. And here you can see that in black and white. And now we do lose a bit of that pink, don't we? That red that's at the bottom, we lose a little bit of that. It does blend in with the actual denim, but I'm happy with it. I think that came out fine. And now you can see with the value finder how that works also. So let's take a look at one of my favorite things to do is make quilt blocks out of, beautiful embroidery threads, maybe sayings, maybe just beautiful embroidery designs. And I often make those quilt blocks on a plain fabric, what I would call a blender fabric. Maybe it's a batik or, a moda that is grunge, or some of those other really beautiful popular blender fabrics. And then I pair it with another fabric that is a novelty print. And that's going to pull the whole concept together in the quilt. But on that novelty print, I have the silk screen, the actual thumbnails of all the colors that are in this fabric. And they are your key to success. Use them to pull threads from your library of thread. So your stash, your wall, wherever you keep it. So here you can see I have 2, 4, 5 different thread spools pulled, and they all coordinate perfectly with that selvage edge. So when it's time to move that over to my actual fabric, I know that it looks beautiful on the novelty print, but that light aqua that's in the middle kind of really blends with that background, doesn't it? So here I can use some color tools such as a color value solution, or the value finder that I talked about earlier. And a color wheel is very helpful, absolutely. This will help you select threads that will coordinate beautifully. So I often use that, and read the instructions that are on it. These are available by many different manufacturers. Find one that you're comfortable with, read the instructions, and then use those guidelines. Like in this instance, it tells me if I use all of the color chips that are in the number 4, I will have success with my project. My favorite, though, is the Ultimate 3-in-1 Color Tool by Joan Wolfram, and that's made by C&T Publishing, I believe. And let's take a look at the flip side of a card. It gives you all the CMYK of those different color chips that can often be translated into thread color, but if not, you can just use your naked eye, which, is very helpful. It gives you some different scenarios: monochromatic, complementary, split complementary, analogous, and triadic. So these are popular combinations of color that we know in the art world always work together very well. And right there on the back, I can match that up with that cardboard, that board of colored chips with my actual fabric so that I get a real match. And I see that this one, number 7-4, is probably the right selection. And that's going to tell me what color to pick opposite it. And in this case, for the complementary, I would pick a red of some type. And this color here works absolutely beautifully. So here's some combinations where I have a light and a dark value, because if I use that light aqua on that background fabric, it's going to blend too much and will be invisible. So if I move up my thread wall to a darker value of that same color, I will have success. And as you can see in my stitch out, it most certainly is. So I hope you use a lot of these different tips when you're selecting thread for any project that you're working on. Why go to all that work and not let anybody be able to see your embroidery? So take the time to select it carefully, and you'll be happy with the results.